marketing done. So no, not enough energy on
Because
it.
it kind of looked like you put about 1% of your energy into it.
Mm.
You know, it's like some things are better not doing if you're not going to make it your next best work.
You're right.
Always sit down and make whatever you're doing your next best work. I don't care if I'm writing a fucking vulnerable personal Facebook post about my mother. If I'm writing something, I'm making it my next best work.
Mm.
I'm putting my full self into it. I'm throwing whatever emotion I have right now into it. Because if I don't pour that in, nobody feels anything. You can't do something and be in a blah monotone mood and expect to move people emotionally.
No.
Always remember that. You are a beacon and you need to shine that light bright. That's part of our work, is to make sure that comes through in everything that we do and that there's passion there. Doesn't matter how simple it is. At the end of the day, all this stuff is actually really simple. It doesn't take a rocket scientist. It just takes fucking observing, asking questions, and getting out of the way. Not making it about me, not making it about us. So many people make copy personal, and then they add their preferences. It needs to, we can't use that word. It needs to be that word. And then we get stuck on things that don't really matter to get to that starting line, or even the optimization. One of the things I said to Doug this morning, I love Helmkin, but because we're limited in the design aspect of things, the way that they edit my copy is in no way, shape, or form the best way to optimize it. The best way to optimize it is not allowing ourselves to be constricted by a system that doesn't give us what we need. We need to use a system that gives us what we need, period. Instead of, let's just keep trying to make this work as much as possible when we've already seen the glass ceiling and been underneath that glass ceiling for months now of sameness. Ooh, let's try this. Let's try this. Ooh, a little bit here, a little bit there. Nothing that's going to get us to where we actually want to be.
You're saying the design of these pages are affecting the copy?
Oh, absolutely. They're, 2002 looking. And then on the upsells, it's worse. You've seen the upsells, just like, it looks like, somebody coded it in Notebook in, 99, 2001. I mean, and Doug doesn't disagree. He's not disagreeing. The fact that we have achieved the numbers that we have with this design and system is a testament to the work we're doing. And then also converting, front end bundles that are, $200 AOVs, the checkouts. The fact that we're doing that on the front end and converting at 3-4% plus is great. But we haven't reached that scalable tipping point. And I see a lot of it is product. If my doctor had an investor that put $1 million into the company,
right,
just for stock and marketing, 500,000 for stock, 500,000 for marketing, then we could just take a quantum leap. But because that hasn't happened, and I know that they are trying to get actual bank loans instead of private investors. I don't know how that's going. But they know they need a shot of capital into the company in order to get it to that next level.
So on the boundaries webinar, I should have just told you, I don't really, so my last client, I failed to implement I failed to lead, or at least I didn't know what I was doing as well as I could have. And, it's fucking not a train wreck, but it could have been done a lot better. So I'm trying to write this webinar and I'm like, well, what am I, fucking hypotheticals here? I don't know.
So blunt, honest truth, it came across as a low-level high school project.
Yeah.
It just doesn't feel like you were vulnerable at all with it, which is why I made that comment in Facebook. When I write things, I have to tap into the vulnerability of things I've been through so that I can get that messaging and emotion out. I have to be vulnerable. I have to admit something. which means we all learn how to apply our healthy boundaries in our lives. Most of us are aware of them because we can feel when our boundaries are being pushed against by clients. We just don't know what to do. Why? What's the number one reason? Scarcity. If you're coming from a place of scarcity, you can't have healthy boundaries. They can't occupy the same space and time. So for a lot of copywriters, the question is going to be, how do I feel abundant and apply boundaries so that I make sure that the projects I take on are going to truly work for everybody? Not just take money and try to give people what I think they need, which again is coming from scarcity. So that is, in my mind, where boundaries, the conversation starts. It's not about poor or rich clients. It's about poor or rich thinking. It has nothing to do with what's going on out there. That's giving power away. The way that you've set your slides up is me giving my power away to circumstances and other people rather than creating the circumstances that makes people jive with us so that everybody can healthily grow a funnel rather than going through the competitive nature that happens when things are not organized and there's no leadership. Because one person is the entrepreneur is coming to you, I need this yesterday. You're like, I have no money. I will do anything you want. You want me to bend over? No KY, no Astroglide, not even coconut oil? All right. And that's what copywriters do when they don't have boundaries. Jeez. They just let themselves get sodomized emotionally, spiritually, financially, physically, because you're stuck in front of the computer and you know you're not in the best case scenario in terms of collaboration, but you don't know how to do that because you have no boundaries. Therefore, you have no leadership because boundaries come from leadership. Boundaries come from knowing your worth, regardless of how much money you have in your bank account. We've all been there of needing more than we have. That doesn't put anybody in a unique situation. What puts somebody like you in a unique situation is knowing those circumstances and consciously, deliberately, predictably overcoming them, busting through them, leaping out of that cycle into a new cycle. That's what boundaries needs to convey. Because it's a paradigm shift in mindset, in thinking, in self-talk, in the story we're telling. It's a deep conversation that has very little to do with the client. We are the common denominator, not them. How can a copywriter have bad experience after bad experience after bad experience? Are all their clients really that bad? Probably not. And yet, how many times do you hear that? Oh, my last client, he asked me to make a revision. I was like, that wasn't in our contract. Stand behind your fucking work. It shouldn't be a conversation. You shouldn't be in such scarcity that being asked to make simple revisions puts you into survival mode. Like an animal in the corner lashing out. I'm gonna fuck this guy up. How dare you? When it should be, yeah, let's do that. That looks awesome. I'm glad that you're collaborating with me so that we can scale this thing to the moon, brother. Does that make sense? Boundaries are also holding the space for everybody to perform, to show up.
Holding the space for everybody.
Creating space. The term nature abhors the vacuum. Empty space must be filled. That's a law of nature. I delineated it down to nature's a whore. Nature abhors a vacuum. Nature's a whore. Empty space must be filled. So come on. What are vaginas? They're empty spaces that must be filled. That's our desire as men. Alia is telling me to cut it out. She doesn't understand, and that's fine. But it's gross. But that's the reality. Anytime that we create space, it must be filled. If you clean your countertop, by the end of the day, it's going to have shit on it. It's an empty space. It exists to get filled up. So what space do you create with your clients with the boundaries that you assert? That's a good question. See, now that we're getting deeper into the conversation, now we're getting the slides that matter, right? It could be the same 8 slides, doesn't have to be more than that. But those slides need to get to the new cause.
And the new cause.
You know how when we date, we're like, oh, she just wasn't for me. She was mean. She did this, she did that. She took me for granted. Well, you didn't have boundaries. You took a connection that could have been amazing because you didn't have the self-esteem to make sure that you had boundaries and that you communicated what felt good and didn't feel good. You allowed yourself to get trampled over, and now that connection's dead. Because now you just have all this resentment, and all that space is filled with toxicity. See, if you don't consciously fill the space, you can guarantee, just like when you take antibiotics and you get rid of all the bacteria, the bad bacteria moves in faster. Same with life.
Same with life.
Yes.
So
if you don't deliberately create, shit feels like it happens to you.
All right.
Let's make this relevant. You want to make $20,000 deals.
Yeah.
Are you thinking like a $20,000 copywriter right now? Or are you coming from so much scarcity because you've convinced yourself that the contrast of what you don't have, that $20,000 client, is this trophy on a pedestal? Take it fucking off that pedestal. There is no pedestal. There is no growth. It's all made up in our head. All we're doing is getting rid of shit that stops us from being what we already are. There is no reaching for the brass ring. That brass ring doesn't exist. All that we do is pay attention to where we've given our power away, dissolve it, and consciously create in our lives. And boundaries are a big part of that. Because if we don't know what feels bad to us, how do we know what feels good? How can we create space for what feels good, for what's going to be in everybody's best interest? We can't be that leader. Does that make sense?
It's germinating.
I didn't know you were German.
But I understand what you mean, and I put that video up.
Let's go back to that first session. What does it feel like to be a $20,000 a month copywriter or more? What does that feel like? What does Brandon that is living that experience speak? What does he think about? What's the story he's telling? Because it's very different than the Brandon right now. You can't take who you are right now with you if you want $20,000 a month clients. You can't take who you are right now with you if you want $40,000 a month clients. You can't take who you are right now with you if you want 10 $20,000 clients a month. And do that work quickly, efficiently, effectively. You can't take who you are right now with you. Stop holding on to him. Let yourself ask those deeper questions. Go on a walk, put on your headphones. Immerse yourself in something before you sit down and write it, no matter what it is. Get to the feeling place, the essence of whatever message is wanting to come through you, and then let it. You connect deeply to channel that message. Channeling means it comes through you. You don't have to own it. That's why I forget so much about what I write, because I don't care. I don't own it. It's a possibility.
So you're saying I can make so the other webinars I think we're going to do is how to test / optimize the testing / optimization mindset.
So what is that process? Tell me what that process is in a sentence.
The testing / optimization mindset.
What's that first slide? What's the overarching broad message that brings people into this conversation?
What the reason why behind it, perhaps?
Why? So what is that? Every project you take on, you are committed to scale to the moon. Charge appropriately for the front end, and make sure that you're being passively taken care of on the back end for your performance. In order to achieve that, it's the 70-30 rule. 30% is with that entrepreneur, that person who created the product, who is the visionary behind the campaign. The 70% is with media and optimizing creative, knowing how to read and respond to data so that everybody can make more money and scale. So what's that process look like? How does it unfold? First step, create the prototype.
Right.
So now we summarize things from other webinars, how to write a VSL, whatever, the elements, knowing more in the room, blah, blah, blah.
Create your best damn guess.
Mm-hmm.
Get that out there.
Make a decision,
sure
make it right.
Yeah, make sure that it has the things in place to be able to get data. Like that, what's that program that tracks where people
True story.
True story. Make sure you have this set up. Otherwise, it's you don't have shit.
Video data, test lots of different video, optimizing based on testing different leads.
Right. So you get all that.
Different lead gen, different ads, quizzes. Like, what are people going to respond to? What is going to help you scale? All those questions need to be vetted out. Decisions need to be made. We move forward, we respond, we adjust. But it's part of our work to take that prototype we've created, then make it work. It's like creating a prototype car and taking it onto the track and then optimizing it for speed and performance so that it's the winningest car. Right? We're optimizing that thing so it performs like crazy on the track, Facebook, and outperforms everybody else.
And then the other one, the how to build your own copywriting brand / well, that's kind of like it's very similar to the other.
Well, like the videos I'm putting into the doc that we're showing people.
Yeah.
Have you shown that doc to your friends?
I have show them with just the webinars.
Good. Well, in the doc, I put in links to just examples of marketing. That's how you brand yourself. How do you talk to this person? How do you talk to that person? It's being a chameleon. It's showing how your brand is applicable to any form of copy in any space, with any client, any entrepreneur, any vision. That's branding. That you are the associated symbol when people think of winning copy.
Oh, wow. You added a lot of shit.
I added to what?
To the copywriting miracle.
Yeah. And I haven't even started. I have tons of consultations that I can put in there.
Nice.
And I think those will be good bonuses. And then I said, go through your classes and choose ones to put in there. So, and you have to upload on the YouTube. So you have to download them from Zoom, upload them on unlisted on YouTube, and then send me those links because those links are the ones that I put into the actual membership.
Okay.
On ClickFunnels. So I mean, like, maybe 5. And then maybe 5 from the previous classes, like with Oscar and all them. We could use some of those. So, and you already did that work somewhere.
The what?
The other classes, remember when we first started? You audited all those?
The other classes?
With other copywriters? Remember when we first started? That's what you did? You went through other classes?
Define classes. Courses?
Classes that I did with other copywriters. Didn't you go through those Zoom videos?
I never got a link to that. I don't think. I saw the first one, the 30-minute how to write a video.
Did you do that, Alia? What? Did you organize all the classes?
I didn't organize them. I went through all and did the summaries.
Oh, she went through them and did the summary. So yeah, okay, so Alia did it. But yeah, so
group copy coach. Okay, fair enough. But
and then
if I ask the right questions, even though I myself haven't performed these as well as I could have in the past, I can still create a webinar worth a fuck because I've asked the right questions.
So boom, we just found a head that we can hit with a nail or a hammer.
Fair enough.
I don't feel qualified to do this. I was waiting for that.
Hmm. Yeah.
So when you think that and you feel that and you're telling that story, how could you produce anything different? And if you don't ask questions, I mean, I'm here. You can ask me questions.
Yeah. I just gotta start shooting off these little fucking.
I watched some of your video with that dude that you put up.
Yeah.
You sounded more authoritative than any of the pieces that you've shown me.
Yeah. Well, the one I sent you, the second one was. I looked at it again. It's robotic. Like I'm just looking at the camera, but.
It's a little psycho. Especially when your eyes are like.
I'm just like, do you see me? And I'm not smiling all that
No, you look like you need to poop. Spiritually
constipated.
Yeah, right. All right, guys, I'm gonna hit the bathroom. See you later.
By the way, oh, go ahead.
By the way, what? Go ahead.
No, I was thinking. So, with all the knowledge about what's causing obesity or just unhealthiness in general, I think there's like a true two-pronged new cause. One, an overabundance of fructose, which has all sort of effects, and two, a dearth. There's no fiber in people's diets. And what if there was some sort of health course that we sold that combined, like as part of the mechanism, you used my doctor suggest structured alkaline silver to flush out, to, clear the slate, and then you can have all these new habits and better eating and whatnot. Because when I was thinking and writing for my MDS, I'm like, well, if they only take this stuff and they don't change shit, then they're not going to solve the problem long term.
I agree. I've brought that up. And I've suggested that we create and sell a course on the front end. They created something called the Essence of Wellness, but it's not nearly what it needs to be.
I mean, it needs to be very well thought out with
exactly. And honestly, this is something I brought up with Doug this morning when I left on all those voice messages. That these are the things, I've asked repeatedly for weekly meetings. So we can produce all the video that we need from Gordon. I can give him the instructions that we need and that we're constantly moving forward. If we don't do that, then we're leaving money on the table, right?
Mm-hmm.
Everybody's leaving money on the table. So you're absolutely right. And I'm meeting resistance with them. And, they're an ideal client. Doug is an ideal client. My doctor is an ideal client. But they're also a perfect example of a company that is in such chaotic disarray that they will take advantage of people if you let them. I'm being taken advantage of. Doug would not say 100% agree with you after everything I said to him if he knew he wasn't right. Unless he knew he wasn't right. So, I said straight up, you've given me your word, and I now know I can't count on it, that it actually doesn't mean anything. I said that straight up. And then he gives me his excuses, which really sucks because it's just disappointing, on a character level. When you say you're going to do something, if you're not going to do it, bring it up. Take that initiative. That's your responsibility. That's his responsibility. So my boundaries were, we're going to talk this afternoon on the phone or on Zoom. Okay. And my boundaries were, I am not willing to move forward like this anymore. I'm not producing anymore. I'm not involving myself anymore until this is sorted out and it is in writing. And you are 100% committed to it, because I am not committed to something where I have to beg to get paid. No copywriter should ever be in that position. No human being should ever be in that position. If you do your work and you do it better than everybody else, and it's producing results where everybody else is getting paid, then you should get paid. So, so I absolutely agree with you that they should 100% be investing in digital programs, you know, like I suggested like what we're doing, a webinar series.
Yeah.
You know, put it, even taking webinars that they've already done, because he's done so many, putting it into a box, giving it away as a lead magnet. You know, why haven't we done that? Because it's a great idea. Well, I can't force them to do it. I can only suggest, and after a while, there's so many suggestions out there that haven't been executed that I just stop. So, you know, part of boundaries is also realizing that you could only push so hard.
Mm.
And then you're pushing against what? Other people's boundaries. And it doesn't actually help movement. So by me drawing the line in the sand, so to speak, this morning, and saying, I'm not doing this anymore. I'm not asking you to pay me one more time. You either commit to it and no more excuses, and I never have to ask again, and you run all the copy that I've produced. You know, enough of asking me to do work and then not testing it. There's 5 or 6 letters he hasn't tested. Test them and produce them correctly, so that they can be tested at the highest level possible rather than a mediocre level.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we'll see what he says. I really hope he's amicable, but I'm also, you know, to the point where, all right, we'll just keep using what I have and, you know, just keep paying me until it's done. You know, if that's the way it has to be, then that's the way it has to be, because I can't keep producing and not get paid. And that shouldn't be something that is even a conversation, right? I wanted to share my screen. We're going to flush this out.
Flush what out?
The boundaries.
Oh.
Oh. That.
Why you want to do 10 webinars now? All of I mean 15?
No, we can launch now.
Oh, okay.
We're constantly adding. I'm telling people, you know, I wanted to add these 3, but they're a little behind. But and then I sent you another idea this morning. I had another idea. I mean, there's lots of webinars we're just going to constantly add to it.
Right.
We should be continuously doing that as if we're trying to launch. But we can launch now. We just need to get the letter to ClickBank. I need to write or do a draft, and then you can polish the group coaching upsell.
Okay.
Because we want that to come. Yes, we want that to convert at 20% plus for this to work.
Yeah.
For ads for the cost of ads to make sense.
Yeah. Yeah, you want to sell the front end as $27, was it? Or was it 47?
27, 37, 47. I'm open to any price point. We'll see what works.
Yeah. And that's just.
I mean, if we can get the same conversion at 37 as 27, of course we'll go to 37. If we can get, you know, 0.1% less on 47, we would go to 47.
Yeah.
Or sometimes you'll even see the higher price point because of perceived value getting more buys than the $27, because people are like, well, it can't be worth that much if it's only $27.
That came to mind.
No, I mean, so we play around with it. That's why I never put price and copy. It's only on buttons, because then I can just, you know, have 3 different landing pages for the ads that I'm testing, and then Facebook figures out and sends the most traffic to the offer that's converting the highest. So if it's 37, it'll be 37. It's 47, if it's 47. If it's 27, it'll be 27. Right? We let the audience decide based on conversions. I mean, other numbers for sure, but conversions are the ultimate. Gotcha. Also CPAs. It's like, if we can get an audience that has an incredibly low CTA, and it converts well at whatever price point, you know, we could put a lot of energy there, you know, in niche audiences. I don't want to do broad. I want to start out with niche audiences and then work our way up to see what works. Right. So based on our conversation, how does this first slide change? What is it? What is it? What does it say? What did we talk about?
This is what I was going to write. Why are bound?
I don't think it needs any more than that on the first slide. A nice picture, all it gets.
Yeah.
Where do healthy boundaries come from? What are healthy boundaries, maybe? But what is the next step in that conversation, be? I mean, that's fine, but is that the
Why
next
are
step?
boundaries? Maybe it's why are boundaries necessary for your financial? What happens when you don't have boundaries? The results.
What are healthy boundaries? And why are they needed no matter how uncomfortable they make you?
So it's what, how, when, where, and
What are healthy boundaries?
no, I'm typing above you.
Where?
You see the slide?
No. Oh,
yeah.
I see. Good. Okay, so now we're getting into a conversation that has a little meat on the bone.
Why do you need them no matter how uncomfortable?
What happens when you don't have boundaries? What happens to our campaigns and projects when you don't have boundaries? And leadership, in parenthesis, which are a form of boundaries. Leadership is a form of boundaries. Maybe put that as a subtitle.
Yeah. How's you got like a new another call with Derek King scheduled?
He hasn't reached back out. He said he would the beginning of the week. It's Tuesday. I'll reach out tomorrow if he hasn't. I do know he's reached out to quite a few people.
Really? He was one of the 3 that responded to your ad?
I thought so. He responded to something else off of the Warrior Forum, which is obscure as fuck.
Should I create some sort of website and create ads as well?
Well, I wanted to do that for us as a team. You can
Right.
do that too, absolutely.
Well, your click.
I want a video with both of us at the top of page.
Okay.
And I want copy, like a sales letter selling our services. Very, very easy. Positioning. New cause. Hook. Mechanism. What are they?
I should get on that as soon as ASAP.
That's what she said.
Fast to the wind, huh?
Mm-hmm.
And you should have done that, what, a week ago? 2 weeks ago? I don't know.
A month.
A
Doesn't
month
matter. When would now be the right time?
Yeah.
Honoponopono. Anytime I do something where I said I should have done something, I immediately do honoponopono. I love you. I forgive you. I'm sorry. Thank you. Because I have to forgive myself for whatever it is and then do it. I have to get rid of the resistance, which is self-forgiveness, and do it. Everybody has to go through that process. We all have those 20/20 hindsight moments. Appreciate the fact that you have it now, because now you can tap into more momentum, and now you can realize what $20,000 a month Brandon wants. Now you can start becoming that person. Imagine an ethereal Brandon. You're walking and you're shedding full versions of Brandon, just like these ghost versions of Brandon as you're walking are falling behind you. They don't exist anymore. They're ghosts. You're letting them go. You're letting those ghosts of Brandon Whited go.
So I'm trying to imagine this letter. So yes, make the sales letter, apply everything I've learned. That what there'll be that video at the top,
So
and
it'll be just like this. Us talking. We've already done one on the FTC. We could even
right,
use that one if you wanted to go that positioning.
right. I mean, I was looking at it. It seems like a pretty relevant thing, and it's something I
That video is testable. Why not? It hasn't had very many eyes on it, so we really don't know. We
yeah,
could use that. So write copy to go with it. Make a decision. Make it right.
yeah. I think I'll write copy to go with that,
Okay.
and yeah. Okay. What happens to our campaigns, projects, and leadership when we have no boundaries? And so, what would be? And animosity, yeah, is created.
Annie.
It's it's and what do you think? Another hook is ad costs are expensive now. Well, get ready to launch in Q1. You end up need more work. That probably won't work. So what comes after this? What happens to our campaigns? Maybe this is when
Scarcity. Okay, that's good. Scarcity thinking leads to no boundaries. So what are the bullets for that? Your worth has nothing to do with the amount of money you have in your bank account. You are.
shut the fuck up.
What else? What did we talk about?
I don't do what they ask.
I'll lose the client.
Yeah.
I can't be a leader if I haven't produced success for other people.
Mm. That's something I struggle with.
Mm-hmm. That's why it should have been already down here. Get vulnerable. That's what it means.
Hmm.
Mirror neurons, right? Let people see themselves in you. The only way they can do that is if you're vulnerable.
So what else has been? What else? I think this is pretty good.
Okay. Plenty to riff off of, yeah.
Yeah. I didn't finish that thought. How maybe this is when we get into how or why scarcely thinking leads to no boundaries.
So how do you establish healthy boundaries without in parenthesis without being a dick.
Yeah, I was gonna say. Going overboard. Eh. I guess it's what are the bullets for this? I mean, it's asking. How do you say? You don't. You do what you say. Wait. Like I'm thinking of like what you're going through with Doug. You've done your work, and now you draw the line.
How do you know what you're worth? First question. Just tag you.
What, on Facebook?
Hmm?
A Facebookie? Oh. Yay, dopamine.
Thank you, Mark Zuckerberg.
It's not opening. No. I can't. Where is it? Oh, I'm so angry.
Are you hangry?
No, I ate.
Okay.
Okay. I guess it'll show up later. All right. Bound. So how do you know what you're worth? Then how do you know what you're worth? How do you implement healthy boundaries without being a prick?
There's a
Simplistic.
no, that's fine.
Oh. Oh. There you go. Or not. And I guess the other limiting belief is that I can't earn 20 grand on my own.
That what?
I can't earn 20 grand in a month on my own right now. Like
I I know that. You know how?
how?
Results don't lie.
Yeah.
We are always telling a story. And if our story isn't in alignment with what we've created, then life feels like it's happening to us, and then everything feels more difficult to actually achieve. You have to understand, Brandon, it is all you 100% of the time. It is all the story you're telling. That is the only thing that is resisting or getting in the way of actually having that right now,
Mm.
or taking the steps to have it right now, which you haven't done. You've had a lot of resistance in taking those steps, like the videos.
Mm. Mm.
So what's another bullet? Just think about that for a bit.
You're saying that space. Then
The opposite. Everybody is combating each other's ideas.
That's a better way to say it.
Hmm. Because I like what you're saying. That's all you need to say.
Hmm.
I had another one. Ow. Uh,
So simply asking a question like, if I want to make $20,000 in the next, what is it? There's 18 plus 30, 48 days. So asking questions like that is the key, really.
mhm.
I want to. What actions do I need to take to make $20,000 in the next 48 days?
That long, huh?
That.
What's next?
What is next? Creating space for people to perform.
I would say the next one is how to maintain your boundaries and help everybody else maintain their boundaries throughout the collaboration all the way to optimization.
You can help others maintain their boundaries.
Our boundaries help other people be aware of their boundaries.
Mm.
It's a natural process. Our clients with their boundaries, how to maintain our boundaries, and even help our clients become aware
Be more aware
of their boundaries.
of their own. And even what the fuck are you doing? And even improve, make. Did you see that guy on the Cult of Copy? I saw Larry Ostrovsky.
I don't go on there very much.
Well,
Why?
you liked his message.
Did I?
Yeah, is a
What did it say?
CBD/wellness niche. He's looking for Like 2 to 4 content pieces a week for no.
I had 2 emails this morning.
2 emails? What do you mean?
People looking for copy, but again, one of them, a guy named Dan. I already deleted it.
Oh, what? It was from Warrior Forum, you said?
Daniel Silvestre. Yeah, but again, I always reach out to a few different copywriters to see if people are price shopping, and he's price shopping.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of cool. Oh, so you know other copywriters in the niche he's looking for, and you can
Mm-hmm.
just.
And I put the price directly in it at the top. So that's how I deal with people that I know are price shopping.
How to maintain our boundaries. What are the bullets for this? Our actions. Your. So I put that 30-minute reminder. Imagine / think of the story / life you want, and it pops up every 30 minutes. I guess maybe I should have another one that says, well, what stories are holding you back? What beliefs? What
Just make it a point to read something, invest time in yourself. Whatever, staying away from the things that make you get caught up in head noise, anxiety. You have a lot of anxiety whether you play video games or not around video games, for instance.
I mean, I've gone rid of them in the last 2 days, but
Yeah.
I don't. Yeah, 3. I want to go for 45 days without them, and I guess a little willpower has been sucked up.
Now you have to figure out how to inspire yourself with something that you're going to occupy that time with. You created the space. Now how are you going to fill it?
Yeah.
Just because you created the space doesn't mean anything until you create definition of what you're putting in that space.
I watched a lot more documentaries because of it.
Good. Yeah. Read more books, invest more time in busting through this stuff because it's all coming from the inside out. Our stories, we are the director, the Hollywood of consciousness. And our stories are always being portrayed exactly how we want them to be. But it always exists with a question mark. You love this. You know how I know it? Because it gets so much of my attention. Okay, I created this. This is awesome. If I can create this, then I can create that. Now I'm putting my attention there. Right? So you created that. Now where are you putting your attention? You created the space. What are you filling it with? Now what?
Is it like the end result? You have 2 choices.
I might bring up some objections.
Oh, you mean to what? To what the viewer is watching?
What if? Let's do this.
Hmm. What if I've never had success before? Hmm.
Anything else?
Hmm.
That's it. What if I can't perform?
You think this is the two paths slide? And did you think the same thing with my negative bias slides?
Hold on.
Yeah.
What?
With the negative bias webinar, did you have to do a lot of legwork for that as well?
I don't remember.
Hmm. Mechanism. Rightly.
I would say what you asked for. Yeah.
Instead of bending over and lowering price, lowering.
And the last one, I would say Last slide. Put it all together. Summarize the conversation. Future paste them.
Then we do that above. The path of lead. That's everything you do.
What do you think?
I see what you mean.
So I think this is ready for Alia to design, yeah? So we can do this one tomorrow.
And I'll work on the
our sales letter.
Okay, yeah. That first.
But do not sit down until you are clear on the elements, the conversation, the story you're telling, how you're getting from beginning, middle to end. Get that all clear. Utilize everything that you've discovered in this process working together before you sit down so that you can actually make it easy on yourself. Do the work before the work, then work.
And
exactly, all your elements. Get all of your elements.
Well, our mechanism, it's compliant copy that scales.
It's compliant copy, it's interviewing, it's collaboration, it's optimization. It is a multi-pronged mechanism.
Collaboration, optimization. And the new cause is, well, the FTC can be a part of it, but it's just that everything's been going positive. It's been changing for a while, and now
the new cause really is just is constantly having X-ray vision with AI and being able to successfully predict where AI is going, so that we can get the most out of creative in the most compliant way possible, so that we're winning while everybody else is wondering what the fuck, basically.
Yes, AI, you mean Facebook's algorithm?
Correct. Artificial intelligence.
Now, positioning, that might be a webinar itself, but positioning, well, what my doctor suggested was eczema, was this.
Right, exactly. So, like, you could do a health letter for us, selling only to health entrepreneurs, and say our mechanism is the mechanism of your product.
Yeah, like health and supplement entrepreneurs.
Correct. So then our mechanism is different than if we're broader.
I see.
Even though it's the same, I guess that's not true, but we would specify it differently
I
because
mean,
we would show our mechanism for working with your mechanism.
but our hook is you have 15 years experience, and no, it's I don't know. What's a hook for a copywriter? What John Benson created the VSL? Is that his hook?
The accelerator bullshit.
Yeah, the VSL.
Yeah.
I mean,
Heuristic.
for you,
Our hook is heuristics. That we know how to make people the associated symbol for the problem they solve or satisfy.
you mean
That's how we build brands rather than running campaigns that fatigue and are never heard about again. That's a fantastic mechanism.
I mean, hook?
Hook.
Yeah, hook. You're fucking me up with these goddamn. All right.
It's all made up and it's bad for you.
Yeah.
That's what George Carlin said.
It's all made up and it's. So yeah,
it's all made up and it's bad for you.
I liked him as a comedian.
Fuck, he's great. Watch his very last stand-up. It's called "It's Bad for You." That's where I get it. It's his last HBO before he died. It's so good. The last 20 minutes. The last 20 minutes are like the culmination. Like he knew this was it.
There's that one scene in it where he's saying, did you know every 30 seconds somebody's killing themselves?
Somebody's killing themselves in the way he delivers it.
There goes another one.
He's so good about it. I read it. I remember as a teenager, I read his book Brain Droppings, and I was like, "This is what I want to do."
And just so I have the hook down, the heuristics. So
heuristics. Read that ebook again. Just look at it again. Heuristics, the story we're telling, getting into the stories that people are telling so that we can get them to mirror neuron, to identify, to see themselves, whereas other copy just is in hypey cliches that make them run for the hills.
Well, I understand that. It's Robert Kohler's, enter the conversation in their mind. Very similar to that. What are they experiencing right now? Their story.
Not the symptoms, not the conditions, but what is actually happening in their lives as a result, and what would happen in their lives if that was changed.
And are you saying campaigns that don't use heuristics, they don't work at all, or they only work for a little while and they fatigue? I've never been a part of a campaign that's lasted a single funnel that just kept running for 2 years without any.
That is the benefit. That's how we run. That's how we build brands rather than running campaigns that fatigue and go away. We're getting equity out of every penny you spend on ads.
But you're saying the copy won't, that even, let's say the most heuristic compliant copy that's really
now mix it with our mechanism, mix the hook with the mechanism. So we're constantly optimizing as AI changes.
And so, it's not like it just stays the same. You change it a little bit, but the core, maybe you'll add upsell or
what works today may not work in 6 months. We need to be on top of that. That's what we do. That's how we mix the mechanism with the hook of compliance, of optimizing. Optimizing never stops. A campaign is never static. It's always dynamic. It's always changing, growing, evolving, building on.
Okay. Well, I should be able to get this sales letter done in a day. So
give yourself room. If you do that, great. But you're sitting down to produce your next best work. If you do that by tomorrow, fantastic. Don't put unneeded pressure on yourself, please.
Because then it's just anxiety and I'm just staring at the screen.
Because now you're just putting arbitrary bullshit in front of you, and maybe you can get it done sooner.
Yeah.
Maybe you need a few days to process. We're emotional beings. Sometimes that's just what it takes before it goes, oh, this is easy. I got it.
$20,000 before the end of the month. Maybe. Possible.
Don't talk yourself. No, say something to immediately negative bias yourself out of it.
What, maybe?
Yeah.
I mean, Well,
You
possibly.
either say something because you know it to be true, because you can, so why not? Or you don't.
I mean, if I
You
spent
either know it or you don't.
every day putting out some ad, or if we got that ad set up tomorrow or to the next day or 3 days from now, and then it was up every day, why wouldn't it be possible? Okay. Well, we'll definitely do the.
Don't waste your time with time frames right now. Focus on the work.
Does my
Then
hair
the
look
time frames
frazzled?
rewrite
It does
themselves.
look frazzled, doesn't it?
You look like a fucking mad scientist, dude.
Do I need a fucking haircut? Like, can I get an actual opinion? I don't know.
You got the hair I had, curly and kind of Jew froey.
Oh fuck.
Yeah. You're throwing out a bit.
No, no. I've some fucking Hasidic Jews came up to me. You know they have that conch thing.
Huh?
They're like, oh, I forget the name for it. It's like, would you like to do this? I'm like, I'm not Jewish.
You look it though. That's the
Damn
thing.
it. Wait, don't tell no one I said that. I mean, yay.
It's only recording.
That's great. You're gonna blackmail me later.
Unfortunately, I'll forget in about 30 seconds. So no.
Yeah, that's true. Okay. I'm going to get a reading and